Hey there, instead of writing this week, I thought I would do a video blog just to see if I could do it. I was going to write about what I think the hardest thing about being a parent is. And if someone asked me the question, what is the most difficult thing about being a parent? I would say, although it's very tempting to say that sleepless nights are a challenge because they are the biggest challenge because it is incredibly hard to not sleep at night for years on end, or the incredible amount of patience it takes to be a parent. I think those are two huge obstacles for the role of being a parent. But if I had to put it down to one thing that I think is most challenging about being a parent, it is allowing your children to become who they're meant to be and not who you want them to become. What I mean by that is, as our kids get older, and I have 5 children, if you follow along this blog, you know well that Nick is going to be 29 and Alan Michael is going to be 23 and Brigham is 18 and Maddox is 13 and Mia, my only daughter, is 11. And as they go along in life, they're going to make choices and take paths that you would not naturally want them to take because you think of all the negative things that might happen to them. You want to protect them as a parent. That's very natural to want to protect your kids. And in fact, it would be unnatural not to want to protect them, I think. But they're going to make choices and decisions, especially as they get older and become more independent, that you wouldn't necessarily want them to make. And because maybe, again, they might get hurt, they might mess up their entire life, so to speak, or whatever. But I also think that when I look back on my own life, those challenges that I had when my parents thought I was going to make the biggest mistake were also the same places where I grew as a person the most. Take, for example, when I got pregnant at the age of 18. My dad really definitely thought that was, that keeping my child was going to be the biggest challenge of my life and a mistake, that I wasn't ready to be a parent, and all of the signs indicated that when I was 18 years old. I mean, it was a huge undertaking. However, something inside of me knew that that is what I was supposed to do, and I took it on, and it was not an easy thing by any means, but it is where I grew and where I began to really understand what it took to have strength and determination and perseverance and patience and faith, hugely, to have faith. Other times in my life, I've gone through a lot of moves with my husband and our kids. Probably the most challenging one was moving from Wisconsin to Dallas 9 years ago. And our kids were all different ages. And Nick, my oldest, was going to be staying behind because he had started college. And Alan Michael was just finishing 8th grade, and he'd been with the same kids since kindergarten. And so that was really challenging to think, we're going to move this kid as he's about to enter high school, and how is that going to affect him? Brigham was in 3rd grade at the time. Maddox and Mia were 2 and 4, and I pretty much knew that at 2 and 4, wherever I was, wherever we were as a family, was going to be fine with them. They would be fine. It was mainly a concern of moving away from one child and in having to help the other 2 cope with readjusting to life in a totally different place without people that they knew. We didn't have any family in Texas either, so it really was a huge adjustment. But as tough as that was for our family, again, and for me as mom, who was in charge of helping make sure everyone got settled in, learned, found the pediatrician, found the dentist, whatever, all those, things that have to go on when you move to a new place. I think that also was a huge growing experience for me. And then after that, we had some financial challenges like lots of other people do. And we ended up having to walk away from a home that we loved. I guess I don't know that I can say I really loved it. It was way too big, and it wasn't quite me. It's what I thought I wanted to be me, but it wasn't me. So nonetheless, learning a huge lesson about what's truly important in terms of space and material goods was, again, another fabulous life lesson, but not easy, So I guess what I want to say is that we want to protect our kids from the challenges that they are going to go through as they make decisions in their life, as they get older, as they try things, as they attempt college, as they finish college and start their careers, as they make choices about getting married, not getting married, all of these things that as a parent you think you know better. But our kids truly have an inner voice, as we do. And sometimes, even if it feels wrong to you as a parent, you need to allow them to honor their inner voice and make the decisions that you would rather them not make in order to learn what they truly want. And that what the decision that they make might turn out, first of all, totally different than the way you imagine. I imagine my dad had no idea that my having a child at the age of 18 and deciding to be a single mom was going to turn out the way it did. I know that, or he wouldn't have been so against it, I think, at all. But in those moments, again, I want to go back to saying that as a parent, the hours suck and the patience level that you need is incredible, and the money and the sacrifice, all of those things. But the hardest part about being a parent is allowing your children to become who they are meant to become, and to stumble when they're going to stumble, and to stand back and love them no matter what. That is the biggest challenge of parenthood, because it's really, really sometimes that you want to jump in and tell them it's not going to work out, or shelter them from whatever decision they're going to make. And you need to let them make the decisions and go through the tough times, because that's where they're going to grow the most. And what do we want for our kids the most? We want them to become who they're meant to become, and not who we need them to be. It's not about us. It's about them. And we don't know best. I think the best thing we can do is to help our kids learn that they have an intuition and an inner voice, and to help them recognize when that's going on and to honor it. That's what I think we can best do for our kids. Thanks for watching.